Aotearoa New Zealand's cuisine revolves around the land and oceans and the fresh food it provides. In this huge New Zealand series, we're travelling from the top to the bottom of Aotearoa, taking you into the heart of our country's incredible food culture. We'll share how New Zealanders gather and cook from the land, uncover heritage family-run businesses that create some of Aotearoa's best food, and go behind the scenes of New Zealand's most famous food industries. This episode kicks off at the top of Te Wāi Pounamu, the South Island. This part of the country is famous for mussel farming. We take you to Havelock, a town which revolves around Greenshell mussels, for a feed of freshly shucked raw mussels before chowing down on burgers at New Zealand's oldest pub. You don't want to miss this series. Hit subscribe and get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat. Today, our massive food road trip of Aotearoa New Zealand continues, and we've crossed from the North Island to the South Island on the ferry, and we're going to be exploring the top of the South Island in this video.
This is a massive camper van journey from the top of the country all the way down to the bottom, sharing with you the best food Aotearoa New Zealand has to offer.
This massive 2-month food trip in a camper van from the top to the bottom of New Zealand, eating all the best food in this country, has just crossed a massive milestone. We've just come off the ferry from the North Island to the South Island. So New Zealand is an island nation, but there's 2 main islands, North Island and the South Island. So we've just crossed over. So we're sort of at our halfway point through this massive journey. But that means we are now in the Marlborough Sounds area. And this area is incredibly famous for green shell mussels or green lipped mussels. So we're coming here to Mills Bay's Mussels to get a huge plate of mussels to start us off on the South Island odyssey of this journey.
I'm so excited to be here. We've just been talking to the team at Mills Bay Mussels. They're telling us all about their beautiful mussels. You can see in here just a ton of the fresh mussels. They've literally just come from the ocean, and these guys serve raw shucked mussels, and I've never had a raw mussel before, so I'm super keen to get into this, the way that they serve them here. So raw with a vinaigrette dressing on top. So let's order.
Get some butter.
Rose is just showing us how she's shucking the mussel. So she's removing the beard, and then she's going round the top just with a butter knife and taking the top shell off, removing that mussel, and then the mussels are massive. I've never seen such big mussels. The orange ones are the female and the white ones are the male.
Yeah.
And they've just been spawning, you were saying?
Yeah, so they're recovering their condition now. So they're fattening up again.
So they're looking big, fat, super juicy. So these are the raw ones that we're going to have. So we're having a half dozen, and we've got a couple of different dressings to pop on the top as well.
We've ordered a bunch of mussels, 2 different ways. So we've got the raw ones, and so this is a highly unusual thing. I've never seen mussels served like this. So shucked, served with those dressings, very neat way to eat mussels, eating them raw. But what they also do is they shuck the mussels that they cook. So we've ordered some cooked mussels here, which are covered in garlic butter, some panko crumbs, and they're put under the grill. What would normally happen in that situation is the mussel gets cooked to open the shell, so cooking the meat. You then put the toppings on, it then goes under the grill, essentially double cooked, so you can end up with a very chewy mussel. But because this is shucked first, then has the toppings put on. It's only cooked once. They smell really good. I can smell this the garlic butter coming up at me. And these raw ones, so fascinating. Never seen it, never had a raw mussel. Super stoked with these 2 different dressings to get into these raw ones.
I'm gonna go for this classic mignonette dressing, so red wine, vinegar and shallots, and then chuck it over this lady here. So the orange ones are the females. All right, so first ever raw mussel. Holy moly. That is amazing. The mussel has such a great bite. There's a real flavour that comes out. It's creamy. It's a beautiful sort of slippery, soft texture, and it does leave a bitter taste in your mouth. Not a horrible bitter taste, but a bitter taste that sort of coats the inner cheeks, and it's perfect with that mignonette, which is quite, it's sweet, it's tangy, it's got the crunch from the shallots. That is amazing.
I'm gonna get into these garlic butter mussels, so we'll get some lemon all over the top. I'm gonna go for this big one. That is something that stands out with these mussels. They are absolutely huge. So this one's covered in the garlic butter, but it's not as simple as garlic butter. It's got some cheddar in there, there's the panko on top, a whole lot of parsley in the garlic butter, some fresh parsley over the top. I've added that lemon, so there's a lot going on here. Oh my God. That is so good. Very liberal with the garlic butter. And I love that because you've got that butteriness all through the mussel. But what screams about that is the shucking. So the fact that it's been shucked and then only cooked once. It hasn't been cooked, opened, covered in butter, put under the grill, cooked again. There is no chewiness. Often with mussels it's chewy, gets stuck in your teeth. That is juicy as anything, explodes in your mouth. Little crispiness from the crumb that's been put under the grill here. Unbelievable.
Awesome, mate.
Wow.
Thank you.
Mussel experts.
So glad you guys came. You appreciate what we're doing.
We sure do. We really appreciate what they're doing. These are great mussels. This part of the world, incredibly famous for mussels, and it's very cool to be able to come right here to the source and have them prepared so expertly. Amazing mussels. Something we didn't say about the green lip mussel or the green shell mussel is they're endemic to New Zealand, so they're a native to New Zealand, and they are highly prized for their health benefits. So they're very, very good for you. So as well as being incredibly tasty, very good for you. So totally awesome to eat. Now we're back on the road, and this is the joy of this being a camper van tour of New Zealand. So we're able to cover lots of the little smaller places, and we're definitely hitting the spots outside the big cities. So now we're heading sort of across the top of the South Island for some more food.
We've tootled over in the van from the Marlborough region over to the Tasman district, and we've come to Upper Moutere, which is a little village, and there's a lot of artisan producers in this region, but it also has the famous Moutere Inn, which is the oldest pub in New Zealand, still in its original building. It's been here since 1850, and I'm so ready for a Sunday pub lunch, so let's get in there.
We're in the pub now, we've grabbed a drink, we're going to get some classic pub grub. We've just been talking to them here. So this beam is the original. From 1850 they started building this building. So it's claimed to be the oldest pub in the original building in New Zealand. Like a lot of these things, there's a bit of conjecture, is it true, are there other ones that are older, but this one claims to be the oldest pub in its original building. So no real changes, except there has been additions. So this is the original beam. That's been added on at a later date, but still very old, that part as well. Really cool in here. They have an epic selection of beers and ciders and whatnot, so we've got a drink. It's time for some pub grub. Awesome. Our pub grub has showed up, so we've gone with burgers, gone classic burgers. So we've got beers, ciders, burgers, just what we felt like sitting in the sun on this gorgeous day at this heritage pub. And we've been reading all about the pub, and there are some neat stories. The original proprietor from 1850, when he first dug the first hole for this pub, there's a neat story about how a few years later the road that runs right through here, which is one of the main roads, was going to be diverted and not be a main road anymore. But mysteriously the roadworks crew kept just getting a little keg of beer shown their way every now and then, and to this day the road is still right here. They never moved it, so that's why we're eating at a place like this. That heritage is so neat. A beautiful old wooden pub out in the countryside, so we're surrounded by country here. Classic New Zealand country pub, and these towering burgers and beers. I could not think of anything better to do on a beautiful sunny winter's day like this.
Check out this tower of deliciousness. So I've squished it down. Check out that barbecue sauce running down. So I've got onion rings, a huge juicy meat patty, Emmental cheese all melted on the top there. I've got some coleslaw, got some cos, towering bun, aioli and fries, and I'm drinking a cider. So what's neat about this region, it is cider region, and this is a cider from a place called Peckham Cider, and it's a cidery that uses proper cider apples, and I've been dying to try their cider. Oh, really, really good. So super crisp and refreshing, and it's not too sweet. Time to dive into this bad boy. All right, so I'll give it a bit of a smoosh. Okay, pop it in my gob. Check out this patty. It is so juicy and moist. Still a little bit pink inside. This is perfect, like perfect for a Sunday pub lunch. Just burger, fries, cider and beers from local breweries and cideries. This is just heaven.
Awesome experience eating there. So 1850, that pub. Now, New Zealand's sort of history isn't that long with these sorts of things. You know, if you're watching from Europe, you're going to think 1850, that's not very old, but in New Zealand that is very old, and it's really nice to be able to celebrate heritage like that. And something else that's cool, there seems to be a bit of a car club outing, so all these awesome old cars are just pulling in. Really like ticks off the sort of the rounds out the situation. It's very cool pub. Now we're back in the van and we're heading further south to make way more episodes on this massive 2-month New Zealand camper van food trip.